Defensively, they just outplayed us. On the ground and through the air. It's a hell of a game. We obviously just couldn't stop it. They came out to play their A game. We didn't. So hats off to them.
And then offensively, it was just some opportunities that we missed, and where we had to punt the ball off. We wish we could have had them back. A couple of throws and a couple of reads that could have made a difference. But they played really well. My hat tips off to them because they definitely fought hard. We didn't lay down, but they definitely was just a better team today.
Can you talk about you guys had the ball down there in the pass on fourth down?
Which to Bill?
To Bill. The start of the third quarter. Yeah, the first drive.
To Bill. Yes. It was a play where, the play before, the time we scored before, it was the play action on that. They collapsed and the guys wasn't respecting the A-back when he comes off, so we wanted to get sneaking in right behind him. But there, the safety, the backside safety just made a good play. It was in Bo's hand, and he had it. He brought his hand in and kind of disrupted it a little bit. It was just a good play on their part. And that was just, the whole night it was just different breaks, and offensively and defensively, where everything was just going their way and not ours. Like a couple of the fumble that they had, the bobble snap, and then they come around, turn it off, and hand it up and get the first down. It was just the luck of the draw for the night. Everything.
Did you feel that not scoring there at the beginning of the third quarter was a crucial turning point?
I think so. I think it was a crucial turning point, just from the standpoint of getting everything rolling, because we had our eyes set on, coming out, scoring right out, and we made it right there. And then, just to see it slip out of his hands right there, just like that, it was just a little bit of a demoralizer. But we was definitely going to keep fighting and try to come back with it, but definitely just failed, and I think that played a part into it.
What were your thoughts on their running back to score over the touchdown?
We knew coming in, coming to tell Wyatt was telling me that it's probably the best running back that we've ever played this year. He said he reminded him a little bit of LaShawn McCoy, and we knew we had our hands full. We just had to be able to play against the pass and the run. But we definitely would have liked to have been on that end, where we would control and run the ball like they did. But we didn't.
Why how difficult from a balance standpoint is it to cover a team where they have a running back like that, but also the two wide receivers? From your perspective, was it tough to try and take one away and then they get you with the other?
It's definitely a challenge. Like we've all said and like we all knew going into this game, we got a huge challenge ahead of us. Their offense has a lot of weapons. With that being said, from a defensive standpoint, we had opportunities to make plays. We really didn't make them, and they took advantage of that. Whether it was stopping the run at one point or stopping the pass, you got to give it to them. They played really well, and we didn't take advantage of those opportunities that we had.
Why did the field conditions make it tough? They're a fast team with some good skilled people, and did you feel like you guys had slowed down at all by the wet, soggy field?
You never can blame anything on an external item. We can't really blame it on the field or anything like that. I don't really think the field had anything to do with it because they were playing on the same field we were, so I don't think it had anything to do with it.
Greg, I want to get your thoughts on getting the senior class stuck on 35 wins. You had a chance to get 36, become the winningest in modern day. Just your kind of thoughts on that.
Coming in freshman year, you definitely the group of guys that you're with, the bond actually it grows, and I think each class going into a program, you want to be something special, and just that loss, trying to tie, I think the most winning record, it hurts, but at the same time, I'd much rather take a loss and be with these guys than win and not have the bond that we have. It's definitely something special, and when we say brotherhood and that these are my brothers, we mean it. Each and every one of us would do anything, and I think that's something that we're going to take away from this.
Right here, Ricky, Greg, the other seniors, if you are, I'm sorry. Coach was pretty passionate about what's ahead of you after your football career and your naval career. Can you talk about your senior year, your last game, your bowl game, and what's ahead of you?
By this being our last game, we definitely want to go out the right way on top, coming out with a win. But, just like this whole season, after a loss, we definitely have to bounce back. This is the same way. After this football season, we have to, bounce back mentally because we definitely have something that's, far more greater than football ahead of us. Us three are going Navy and Tyler is going Marine Corps. So we definitely have our eyes set on that, and that's something greater, I think, than just the sport of football because we're going to be changing people's lives directly. But like Greg said, the bonds that we've made throughout this last game and just throughout our 4 years together has just been unquestionable.
Ricky, were you disappointed not to set those two records you guys had set as goals, the 10 wins and the overall victories for the senior class?
Yes, definitely. You're a little let down, but though, just like I've said before, the memories and the bonds and the lessons that we've learned this season, I wouldn't trade it for an undefeated season. Because I think the stuff that we've learned this season collectively as seniors and also the underclassmen, seeing how we deal with it, are lessons that are going to be transferred over to life when we get our own families and when we're out there leading sailors and Marines out in the fleet. The stuff like this, being able to bounce back after something that you put everything into and, had an expectation of yourself, then in order to fall short and be able to continue to move forward, that's something that, I think is unparalleled. It can't be matched, and I wouldn't trade that for an undefeated season anytime. I'd take a 9-4 over 9-4 with the lessons and the bumps and bruises and the trials and tribulations we went through before a 12-0 season.